final choice for me. But that combined with the insane acceleration,
I think you get a tremendous amount of value.
it's fun.
I'm Pete, you know me from TV.
What did you bring?
I brought a Mercedes A220. This is the ultimate first nice car that a person can. It's an entry-level Mercedes.
My name is Tim, and I brought a 2023 Toyota GR Corolla, a direct competitor to the Mercedes-Benz. But not really.
So, yeah, what'd you bring, David?
I'm David, and I brought a 2023 Model 3 Performance.
You always gotta show us something.
That's electric though, like a golf cart.
Yeah,
Is it fast?
it's very fast.
All right, so this is my Tesla Model 3. It looks like every other Model 3 in existence. The only way you can really tell that it's a performance at all is these rims, at least for 2023. Those are the only rims you can get on the performance. The Model 3 is sort of the everyday kind of electric car. It does, I think everything pretty well. It does a few things exceptionally well, which would be acceleration and storage. There's actually a lot of storage in here. Every Model 3 looks pretty much the same. They're clean, they're open, they're pretty roomy. You got good visibility, but I think it's not hard to make an argument that it's kind of bland. It's definitely a little bit boring once you've seen hundreds of these, because they're all pretty similar. And there are some downsides. Pretty much everything is controlled by that display right there. So you have no knobs for almost anything other than like volume and your cruise control. One cool thing I will point out though is just the amount of storage in these things is pretty great. You have the front, you've seen it a million times, but you also have a pretty spacious 3 or 4 body trunk, and then even a sub trunk, which if you're small enough you could even fit down there as well. Anyway, but it's a pretty much, it's your everyday electric car with a lot of power behind it. Anyway, this is my 2023 Toyota Corolla GR, and I'll tell you a few things I like about it. It's not exactly your everyday Corolla. It's got these huge little flared fenders and these massive floating brakes. Yeah, those are super cool. That's probably my favorite part of the car. It's got all these vents and grills that are really useful. You can stick your finger in here. It's really awesome. I don't know what that's for. But overall, it's a huge styling upgrade from the standard Corolla. And of course, underneath, it's the Toyota 4-wheel drive system, stick shift only. So inside the car, it's not super roomy. It's a fairly small car inside. I am 6'4", and it fits me okay, but once I'm seated in the car, you're not gonna get an adult behind me. Fairly small. You can see how much room is back there with me sitting behind the wheel. It's sufficient for children. I wouldn't probably wish that on an adult, but it is sufficient for a family car. Unlike David's Tesla, this car has maybe a half a body size trunk. It's really, really small. There's no spare tire here. You'd think that's why this is so high, because there's a spare tire, but it's not. They put the battery back here. So it's pretty small when it comes to storage, but really that's not what this car is all about. The 3 exhausts. One per cylinder. One per cylinder. I don't like triple exhaust that much myself, but if you're into more than 2 exhaust pipes in your car, this is gonna really float your boat.
This is a Mercedes A220. This is their entry-level car. You are not paying a lot of money for this. You could easily buy a Honda Accord and auction it out for more than this car. And this car has a crazy amount of nice features. It is, to me, kind of like a baby S-Class. Look at the interior here. So this interior, the prior generation CLA was pretty dowdy. There was lots of hard plastic. Everything is soft touch where it should be. You've got fake or real leather covering the seats and the dashboard. You've got squishy soft materials throughout, and you've got a decent amount of room in the back for a normal sized person. I mean, if you're over 6 feet tall, you might find that back seat pretty tight, but just an incredibly nice and very nice looking interior as well. And sometimes looks are more important.
if you're going to want something that is really smooth and comfortable all the time, this is probably not your baby. But it's not punishing, I'll say that. For those of you out there who have driven a Focus RS, this is going to feel like a luxury car in comparison. It's not punishing, but it is firm. And the handling, though, is about faultless, I would say, for a hatchback. It's very, very good handling. Very secure. The brakes are astounding. It's the best vehicle in the world. Just buy one.
The steering feel, what's the steering feel like? I mean, all these new cars have EPS systems.
It's electric steering, but right now I feel the road coming through in the steering. You feel it. It loads up very, very nicely. It has, I would say, a very, very good steering for an electric rack. 300 horsepower, 1.6 liter, 3-cylinder. It's a more of a traditional turbocharged feel. This feels old school in how the power delivery is done. It does not make peak torque low down in the rev range. This is more of a peaky, old school drivetrain. The revs build and the power builds naturally with the RPMs. What a fantastic road. The comfort is on par with a standard Corolla. The seats are different. They are a sportier seat, but they're not actually uncomfortable. They are actually a very supportive seat. I find them very comfortable for a sports seat, which is good because not all sports cars can actually accommodate.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest reasons I bought the car was for the ride. It's really good in my opinion. It's excellent on the highway, and even on a pretty nasty road like this, it soaks up a lot. The handling, you know, it's not a Corvette. It weighs 4,000 pounds. It does have a very low center of gravity. It does not have a ton of body roll. But, you know, it's not a Miata. It's not that GR. So it's not going to attain to the same level. But it's got quite a bit of grip. Pirelli P0, Summers, all around. It's pretty grippy. Again, not a lot of body roll, but it's also 4,000 pounds. It's got a good clutch, very, very light. Honestly, you kind of just breathe and the clutch depresses and it does the rest for you. Powertrain is phenomenal. I mean, there's instant power at any point.
Whoa.
Even above 50 or 60, you know, because a lot of electric motors, even in like an old Prius, you get a 0 to 10, 0 to 20, that's not bad out of an old Prius, but this is like, it's very, very quick, startlingly so. When I first test drove it, I took my wife, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna scare her, and I'm gonna floor it, and I did, and I scared myself. So I let off and was like, and then I literally said to her, well, I guess we have to buy this car, because it was so much fun, and we did.
This car has the lowest capabilities of the cars in this comparison, by far. But it's not that kind of a car. It's not meant to be a world beater. It's not meant to be a halo car. But for most of us, this is what we need. We need a car that you can get back and forth to work in, or to meetings in, whatever. And you want it to be comfortable. You want it to be just unobtrusive. And the ride and the handling of this thing does exactly that. For how small of a car it is, it does it really, really well. It has the nimbleness and the ease of use of a smaller car, but the driver and the front passenger have very good space for, again, how small this car is. Not much larger, maybe not at all larger than a Honda Civic, but it drives in a very solid way, maybe kind of like the Tesla does. It's a very confident feeling car. It's very quiet, very refined, and it has a really good balance of ride and handling that I think if you're looking at a car that is in the upper 30s, low 40s, this is something you should drive. You should definitely check it out because it's surprising. The powertrain on this thing is a turbo 4-cylinder. It's the lowest output small engine that you can get in a Mercedes. The CLA has the same size but is a little bit more powerful. And very good power, plenty of off-the-line torque, and the transmission is exceedingly smooth. It's not a race car transmission, but it is exceedingly smooth. It makes it very enjoyable to just drive wherever you need to go. It doesn't get in your way, it doesn't distract you, it's not noisy, and that's entirely the point of this car. This is meant to be just a very unobtrusive, comforting experience to get from A to B and not think about the drama of life.
So we have $45,000.
Yeah.
And we have three
Very different cars.
very different cars.
Yeah.
I think they each are fulfilling, a separate market or mission. If you had to own one of these
Yeah.
for 5 years and you had to keep it, you couldn't sell it, which one would you keep and why?
I would probably go with the A220 because it coddles me. I have a long commute.
5 years is a long time too.
Yeah.
That's plenty of opportunity to get sick of the minimalism and the silence of the Tesla, and plenty of opportunity to get sick of the bounciness and the noise of the Corolla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's not to say I agree with you, because I would not pick the Mercedes myself.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
one would you pick
I
then?
would pick the A220. I mean, it's 40 grand, but it's going to come with all of the
So what's your
high-end service experience. They're not going to question giving you a
you will
loaner.
definitely experience the service of Mercedes. Yes.
The Mercedes, what do you think?
This is going to sound blasphemous. I think this is a modern muscle car, and I've owned 3 muscle cars.
Yes.
I think this is a modern muscle car. It doesn't really handle that great. It's not really like that full of spirit, but it just hammers you forward. If you want to pass, you can pass immediately.
That's interesting because I've never heard anyone describe an electric
can-
car as a model muscle car. But I see what you're saying, though.
But when you say,
because
hold
you're
on,
right.
when you say you can pass, you can literally pass gas
That's true.
because you're
It
passing
can
a
fart.
gas car.
It
Probably.
can fart. Let
That
me-
too.
What would you have?
So for me, knowing Toyota reliability and how rare that car is and how special it is, I would want to live with the Corolla myself, honestly.
The
Now-
Corolla is the only one with fire in its belly. This
Yeah.
car is like getting you there comfortably. This car is getting you there kind of in a sophisticated manner.
Yeah, with
This
your
one
face
is-
pulled back over like this because of how fast it is.
This one is designed to get you there with a big smile on your face.
Yes.
And actually have you interested in the entire drive.
So my pick would be the A220. I have a long commute. It's an hour or more every day, and this has that comfort. This has a pseudo massaging seat. It's a really quiet engine. I think you get a tremendous amount of value for Mercedes' cheapest car that they make.
Okay, so final choice for me, if I had to keep one of these 3 cars for 5 to 10 years, I wasn't allowed to sell it, I honestly would keep the Corolla. I know I brought this car, so it's really unoriginal for me to say that, but I have a family. I've had scads of boring cars. I've driven family cars for 13 years, and this car, to me, it's perfect. I don't commute, so to have something that I can run to the store in, it's super sporty, it's decent gas mileage, handles amazingly, and it sounds cool with that 3-cylinder. I love it. I would keep the Corolla of these 3.
I like kind of that it's a happy medium. You got lots of storage, you got a pretty good ride, you got a pretty quiet vehicle. It's a very nice open interior. There's some downsides to everything being on the display, but that combined with the insane acceleration means, to me, it's my choice.